Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver and welcome back to World of Horror. So listen, as I was getting ready to record this episode, I got a pop-up on Steam saying Halo Infinite free to play, and I am incredibly confused. Like, first of all, isn't Halo, listen, I have no dog in this race, I have no horse in this race, whatever you want to say. But I'm just very confused, because I thought that Halo Infinite was like a Xbox exclusive, but I guess it's not, because it's free to play on Steam. Also, why is Halo free to play on Steam? What the heck? I mean, I'm just like, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I mean, of course I'm gonna play it, it's Halo, but like, you know, I hope that it's more optimized for AMD cards, because that's what kind of killed the Master Chief Collection for me, was the Master Chief Collection didn't run very well, because it doesn't run very well on AMD cards. And so I was having, like, horrible stuttering, you know, the what is it, like, the co-op firefight thing? Not firefight. The co-op missions in, like, Halo 4 or whatever, right? Like, those, to some extent, were literally unplayable, right? Like, playing a first-person shooter at, like, 12 FPS because it's poorly optimized, it's like, that's not okay, man. Like, maybe some drivers have come out that have made it more playable now, but when the Master Chief Collection first came out, and the lads and I... Well, not just when it first came out, because it released, chronologically speaking, so the multiplayer was fine, but trying to do, like, the co-op campaign, or the... You know, specifically Halo 4, I think, was the problem, because I remember Halo Reach and Combat Evolved were fine. But, you know, that's what kind of killed the Master Chief Collection for me a little bit, is that some of the cooperative stuff was just, like, not really playable. To some extent. Like, it was playable, but not, like, to... You know, not like Dexterity, Knowledge, Second Mystery, Takashi, and Strength. So, the top two, and then... How dare you, phone? The top two, and... Dexterity? Yeah. So, we don't actually have to put any points into anything. Like, Miku will take care of it, which is pretty dope. But we do have to remember, I'm sorry, I have the memory of a goldfish. Second Mystery and Takashi, alright. So Seal of Savvesh is fun. We like these. Now, Third Eye, probably not gonna cast that. But, you know, what we can do is, I mean, I want to get like an Expel Evil or something, so that we can then heal stamina here, because that's, like, good value. But, you know, I mean, we could just get 2 Seal of Savveshes, that's really fun. And, I mean, listen, we're not gonna get too greedy here. We have the library notes, so we can sell them, so we only have to get cursed once. You love to see it. Let's see what we got here. Eels is pretty good to start with, but do we have any, like, forest gaming? No, we don't. So, assuming we're ready, which I think we are, we've gone here, yes we have, we can just head on down to the department store with our friend Kana, and we can, you know, we can just buy a completely normal thing, a monkey wrench. You definitely need that, that's the wrong place. Please excuse the almost misplay. We didn't misplay, but we almost did. We almost went to the dog store. Now listen, 7 starting strength as Miku is pretty crazy, and like having 6 strength with a monkey wrench, I think 7 strength is the sweet spot, because I'm pretty sure that's where you can prep attack. But listen, I'm not gonna complain about, like, we would have, well, we would be at -4 right, or not -4, we'd be at 4 right now. I don't really want to get injured, but it's like, I don't really want to lose reason either, but, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. Maybe we should have taken the injury there, but we can, that's really lucky. Dead Man's Float. Usually you want to get the money so that you don't, you know, get Jar of Blood and end up losing a lot of health, but we could take minus stamina, no problem. So this is the first enemy, kind of a bummer. Yeah, so we need one more point of strength if we were gonna, like, prep attack. Not that a 90% hit chance is bad, by the by. So what we can do is we can set him down to 11, but does that do anything? Because we don't have anything to throw. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it because that's a little sketchy for Doom right off the bat. But, I mean, we're gonna go down to 8, and it's like, yeah, it is what it is. And, I mean, we need to hit that. Like, if we hit that, we lose. And by lose, I mean things get a little bit more complicated. But taking 4 stamina damage right off the bat's not a big deal. But listen, we're 6 minutes into the video and I haven't addressed the new pan stash tweet. I feel like I'm becoming like a World of Horror hype guy to some extent, which is not the role that I want. But I mean, listen, like I think that, I mean, I'll probably link the tweets in the Discord. I just dropped a USB flash drive. Oh no. The horror, it had the cap protecting the USB part of it, so it's completely fine. It's a carpeted floor, who cares? I mean, it's not... Oh crap, we forgot to go to the seaside earlier once, so we will miss out on Kana being there. Which is kind of a bummer, and it's also dangerous. But I guess that doesn't really mean anything if we get into a fight. But, yeah, no, like, semi-regular developer-player communication on Twitter.com, you love to see it. Like, that's fantastic. I think that, I mean, it's just great. It's just, it just is good. Like, there's not another way that I can put it. It's good. I cannot believe we passed that perception check. That's insane. Like, no, but for real, right? Like, what was the biggest problem with World of Horror for the longest time is no communication. And listen, it's happened before. Like, we'll get, like, semi-frequent communication, and then we'll get, like, 6 months of silence in between major updates, but, like, in between an update and its subsequent hotfixes, we'll get pretty regular communication. So, like, I'm still kind of worried about the time when it's like, okay, you know, we're going to, what was it, like 9.84, right? Like, we're going to 9.84. That'll probably be, like, that'll probably get a couple hot fixes, maybe a hot fix or maybe 2, who knows? And then after that point, when it's probably the push, because, I mean, is 9.8, like 9.80, like that's really close to just overflowing into like version 1.0. Like either pushing for the next big update or pushing for 1.0, you know, obviously I have no idea. This is just like blatant and brazen speculation. So just keep that in the back of your minds. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about here. I have no inside baseball whatsoever. I like both of these a lot, by the way. Like, both of these are really good. I think we'll take Adrenaline, but I really do like looting. I think that the more I play Miku, the more I value looting. The more I play Harbinger of Doom, the more I value looting. So I think we'll go ahead and take care of that. So we're at 7 strength already. I mean, that's great. And we've got Adrenaline, so we can take Reason here, no problem. We've already taken a bath. That's right, that's why we leveled up. So we do need to remember the second thing here. I mean, we could do a little, how do we put that? I mean, we could do School Scissors. That's not a big deal. Yeah, well, we can do School Scissors. That's fine. It's a little risky. It's a little risky. And if we were unlucky, we could die. But I don't think we're going to be that unlucky. But, like, you know, it just... The whole situation, it just reminds me, like, when... Like, what it takes is just communication, right? And just effectively communicating with the community. And now I haven't been on the, like, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I haven't been on the official World of Horror Discord in a while. I'm a little scared. I think that listen, Joey and I have the audacity to call our podcast -2 reason. I think that's the real -2 reason. No offense. Because I do know that I've gotten shouted out there, like, once. Somebody recognized me and said they stan. So thank you. Thank you! Thank you, viewers at home. I appreciate it, but... You know, like, I don't know, like, I've been avoiding... Like, I don't like the Steam forums. I think the Steam forums are terrible. And I don't like the Eldritch Swamp. It's very... how do I put this? It's a swamp. And I am not an ogre. I am not Shrek. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Literally unwatchable. He's not Shrek. How dare he? But, you know, it's like, I've been avoiding the sort of discourse around it, because it's like, you know, I don't really have anything to add, I guess, except communication is good. And I like the fact that, like, Panstash was answering some questions on Twitter. And so, you know, we got some more concrete things, like the next update's got 2, like, vanilla characters, and then it's got... Now, this was a little bit confusing. I'm pretty sure how the tweet was worded. We're getting 2 characters that are examples of custom characters, but it could be just a 3rd character. Like, 2 characters who are, like, in the game, and then 1 character who's, like, the, meaty visitor equivalent. And we're also getting a custom mystery as well. So that's pretty cool. And 2 new old gods as well. 2 new old gods confirmed. You do indeed love to see it. So this isn't good enough yet, because we're doing 12 here. But, I mean, we can do 80? No, hold on. We should be able to do 95-95 though, right? No, in 95-85, that's okay. It's -1. It's -1. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I've just been kind of avoiding, like, discourse in general around World of Horror. Because it's like, again, like I said, I don't really have anything to add. Other than, you know, I'm excited for Thing. So yeah, like, I'm excited for the game to be updated. I think that'll be really cool. Although I will say, is really funny that all of those threads on the Steam forums, they were like, dead game, the developer ran with the money, and then literally, like, this was one of them, but it's like literally the next day, it's like, update soon. It was really funny. And then everybody was just like, things that aged poorly. But, you know, like, I've said it before, I just like playing the game, right? So, I do, like, the only reason I'm talking about it now is I occasionally get asked about it. Which is not, like, a big deal, or, like, a bother at all. It's just, it is a little weird, though, because I have had some people say, like, do you know if Panstash is dead or not? And it's like, I don't... Who? Like, I've never talked to Panstash before. So I do find it kind of funny. So that was a clap, a bow, a clap, a bow? Or I wasn't paying attention. It doesn't matter. We're not gonna fight ghosts. Ghosts are bad. Like, when you get the clap and bow correct, the ghost still hits you. So it's pretty much either sever or nothing. Like, that's about it. On more exciting news, like, did you watch the earlier parts of the video? Halo fucking Infinite is on Steam for free right now? What the hell? You know what? I'm gonna install that right now. Like, I was just kind of shocked, because I saw it when I loaded up Steam, and I did not download it. Like, oh, pay $60 for the campaign. I'm not following the 343 Industries storyline, dude. Just give me the multiplayer. It is 26 gigabytes. That's actually pretty good for, like, a... That's actually, like, really good for, like, a modern AAA game. Like, what the hell? Like, 36 gigs is crazy. I mean, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is, like, 100. And that's without DLC. Like, I want to fact check myself. live on camera because I'm recording earlier for once, so it doesn't really matter. So listen, it says 25 gigabytes, but I think that's a goddamn lie. I don't believe... It's called Pathfinder's Second Adventure? What the heck? I don't believe that for a second. You're lying to me? Because you go here, right? Like, you go... Like, I've been getting, like, 5... Like, there's an update for Pathfinder that I haven't gotten yet that's 6 gigabytes. And so what I assume what has to be happening in this situation is... It's like a 26 gigabyte game, but when you get a 5 gigabyte update, it's writing and replacing old code or whatever, or old files, so it's deleting those old files and then implementing the new ones. Like, that has to be it, because there was literally, like, day one, it was like a 10 gigabyte patch. So unless the game was like 26 gigabytes, like, what the heck, man? Like, I'm very confused, because, I mean, like, seriously, it's like, is a 6 gigabyte update, like, every several days, right? Like, I'm very confused how it just says it's 26. I genuinely don't believe it. I think I'm getting pranked. I think I'm getting punked. So anyway, second mystery was school scissors. We should probably do household hell now. That just seems like a relatively decent idea. Because I was kind of forgetful. For once in my life, I forgot roads closed existed, and it was a temporarily beautiful moment. We can't die here if we forget Ashen Contract. I mean, obviously we don't want to forget Ashen Contract, but we can keep progressing through we could die here with Ashen Contract, so that's something that we have to kind of change our own behavior here to avert disaster. And we're gonna do what's called the power leveling Miku strategy, where we purposely, quote-unquote, make ourselves stronger by increasing the doom artificially. I hate that, brother. I hate that. Do we want to get 15 EXP for a dangerous location? No, we're gonna rest again. Like, this is insane, but it's third mystery. We have 41% doom. Who cares? There's no roads closed. Brothers, there's no time for it. I think -3 doom, excuse me, is better than +1 reason. But yeah, so Halo Infinite is a thing that exists now? I had no idea. Like, was that announced? Or did they just drop it? Like, listen, I live under a rock, okay? But I would like to think that I would know when Halo Infinite is releasing. Okay, so the multiplayer is out now. And it's also on Steam. Right, like, I was kind of resigned to be like, you know, that's, like, because I thought that for the Xbox, like, on PC thing, that it was, the game came out on Xbox first, and then, like, a couple years later it got ported to PC, or if it was a major Xbox title, stayed on Xbox exclusive, and then, like, you know, some of the more smaller games got ported to PC, right? That's the assumption that I was under, but I guess not. Like, I mean, yeah, no, I guess not. The most stable... I'm thinking of something that I find kind of funny. The most stable Halo experience I've had on PC is playing the goddamn Dark Souls Remastered version 2. That's pretty funny. So, I mean, do we throw the wooden bat to, like, block 1 damage? No. But what we can do is we can guarantee that she goes... I mean, brother, let's get crazy. Let's take a chance. Okay, we failed to dodge. I am aware that we have failed to dodge. Okay, so we'll do 80-80. Can we do 80-80? We can do 80-90. Let's go. 180, 190. You love to see it. Now, I was just thinking to myself, if we could get doomed already, that'd be absolutely incredible. And let's start power leveling that strength, because we don't got any other concerns through the rest of the game. We're cruising at this point. We're cruising. We cruising. So the roads have finally closed. But that's okay, because we only had 1 out-of-town mystery, and we just knocked it out now. But yeah, so... I just can't get it out. Halo Infinite came out today. Also, before you're like, Web, you forgot to shill for Gar Friends for Good. Gar Friends for Good has officially ended. They raised almost $900 for charity. That's freaking awesome. And apparently it's one of those things where it's like, for every $1.50 you provide somebody with clean drinking water. And so if that's the case, that's pretty pog. Like, that's pretty cool. So, you know, the Gar Friends for Good story arc is over. Also, it was a great stream. Like, I tuned into Plungerhead's part of it because he's my boy and I gotta represent. My man was playing okay, so calling it like a 2D Gmod is probably not correct, but it's basically a fighting game that is so, like, moddable. Like, it has so much modding potential that people just make whatever the hell they want in it instead of the actual fighting game itself. And so somebody made a recreation of the Sans Undertale boss fight from Undertale, and it was it was incredibly faithful, right? Like, the only thing that it was missing was like an inventory system. So like, when you just hit item, it gave you a healing item, and they were like set in a certain order. So it's like, first you use the, I don't even remember, like the legendary hero or whatever, and then like the snowman pieces. You know, like, just some of the random food items you can pick up in the game. And so it is just, like, deadass a recreation of Sans Undertale fight. But what's absolutely incredible about it is that Plungerhead was playing as Garfield. And so he was playing, so literally imagine Garfield versus Sans. And what's even crazier is that when I was on Twitter earlier today, apparently, like, a pencilist for the Garfield comic strip has drawn Garfield X Undertale, like, fan art. Like, there's a picture of somebody who's worked on Garfield, who's like a professor who teaches art. There's a picture of Garfield just, like, slashing Sans and, like, getting a bone for Odie. It's incredible. Like, I don't know if I retweeted it or if I just closed Twitter out of, like, you're staring at the sun, basically. Like, you can't look at it. Like, it's pure awe and inspiration, but you can't look at it for too long, lest your eyes will just, like, be burned out of your skull, alright? So, Gigolo, what do we think about Gigolo? We don't like him. He's harassing us outside of our house, even though we have a no soliciting sign. We don't want what he's selling. And so what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to brace for impact. That's the first thing that we're going to do about it. And then we're going to attack him as many times as possible. And we're going to boost one of those attacks. And we're going to hopefully kill him next turn. Which we should be able to, because this is, like, pretty easy to do. We're doing 7 damage. You love to see it. Took 1 reason. It's all A-okay. And now we're going to a restaurant. Miku's treating herself to a good time out with her friend Miku. You know, maybe she's being harassed by a little cult, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Also, what's so weird is that when you take adrenaline, you get looting. Right? Like, it's so confusing. It is genuinely confusing, but after we kill Ghoul, we're probably gonna go pick up a whatchamacallit. I mean, this is just, like, a great action. Like, you love to see this. Like, I don't even care about... Can we actually do this? Yes, we can. We're probably gonna go pick up, like, an experimental treatment. Like, that's what makes adrenaline, like, even better. Because you get looting with it. So, I kind of forgot about that. It's like adrenaline is just a glitched perk that gives you 2 in 1, but it also stacks with looting. Meaning that you can get adrenaline and looting, and you can get 2 funds per enemy, which is completely freaking ridiculous. Like, that's how we get Miku games where you have, like, 12 funds, right? So, I mean, we're just vibing. Like, I do hate the downtown being doomed, like, every single game. And we're gonna take EXP, because... Oh, wait, what? Wasn't the downtown... Oh, well, we should have taken the healing, then. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. I thought the downtown was, dangerous, but... Or dangerous, at least. That's crazy. Do we want to just go ahead? Like, let's just go ahead and pick it up. Like, you might be like, Winds of Plague. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, there we go. Like, we rerolled way too many times, but it's the final investigation on a short mystery. We've got Sorrowful Saga of Sailors left, which is an incredibly short mystery. It's like, come on, man. It's okay, right? Like, it's alright. It doesn't really matter that much. And plus, we gotta get to 80% Doom if we want to get Knowledge and Dexterity up to 8, so... we'll take Folklore Studies and a little more Strength as a treat, just because it's fun. There's not really... we have Contaminated Water, so it's not a big deal. We don't need any help with combat, so let's just get this out of the way immediately. And I mean, we get the Torch. I'm pretty sure it was Takashi and Second Mystery, which was School Scissors, which is an unusual choice, just for the record. I mean, we gotta get Doom for +8. We gotta get to 80% Doom. It's required, or else we explode. I mean, why not, right? Like, if we fail, we'll just heal, and if we succeed, we get a spell, which we can forget for healing, so it's sort of like a weird sort of... It doesn't really matter what you do, because it will have the same effect either way. And I mean, Joseph Ferris just giving us a high five, and Junji Ito Mansion, you love to see it. But yeah, no, pretty easy Miku dub. Nothing too crazy, nothing too scary. Well, I mean, this would be pretty terrifying if we, well, I mean, we did forget. Like, it was a bow, a clap. And then what was it? A clap? I mean, it was maybe something like this. And admittedly, the run would get a whole lot more complicated if we didn't remember the combination. Like, if Burning Man and Doll Nurse get fixed in the next patch, like, we gotta either start carrying around, like, pocket knives or... remembering that code, because I mean right now, like, I mean that's probably the biggest bummer with the combat system is like this doesn't mean anything. Like, this doesn't matter. Like, the clapping and the bowing and the ritual, it doesn't matter like 99% of the time, right? Like, it's a fun thematic thing, but it's too punishing compared to literally everything else in the game. And if you made it, like, I'm not the kind of person who thinks that you should nerf to keep everything in line. I think you should make things better and more enjoyable, right? Like, that's why I'm a little bit disappointed about how Games Workshop is handling with the new, like, quarterly balance update, is because it's not that you make Chaos Space Marines good. It's that you make AdMech and Drakari worse, right? Like, I don't really like that. I think that if you're gonna, like, balance change things, like, instead of... Because here's the thing. Chaos Space Marines suck, right? They're awful. So... this is coming from somebody who plays, well, okay, listen, I want to play, but I haven't yet, because, you know, Zed waves arms around wildly, points out the window, there's a thing going on. Although, you know, a friend and I were thinking about playing, so really it's just about building and finishing painting everything. But I've read the rules to Chaos Space Marines compared to some of the more, like, exciting rules, and, like, listen, I play Emperor's Children, and I think that Emperor's Children is probably, like, fun because, like, Endless Cacophony. Like, that's a banger of a stratagem for sure. But, I mean, you don't have your 2 wounds yet, so, I mean, that just completely sucks. And then you're also missing out on a lot of, like, I mean, you don't have a Primaris equivalent, which makes sense lore-wise. But you don't have a Primaris equivalent, you're missing out on a lot of cool things that Loyalists have, and you don't have your 2 wounds yet, which is just absolutely disrespectful, right? Like, Space Marines recently got up to... So, basically, wounds are health, right? So, usually, a model has 1 wound to indicate that they're, like, a rank-and-file troop. But recently, Space Marines, the poster boys of Warhammer, they all got updated to where they get +1 wound, right? So, the Space Marines now have 2 wounds, and the, I'm pretty sure Terminators have 3 wounds, right? Like, that would make sense. But Chaos hasn't been updated this edition yet. So 9th edition came out like last year, I think. And Chaos hasn't gotten a wound yet. Like, they haven't gotten an update yet. And so now, like, so they don't have their 2 wounds yet, right? They should, and once their codex comes out, they're gonna get their 2 wounds, because Games Workshop already said that Chaos Space Marines are gonna get 2 wounds. But we're not gonna get a Chaos Codex for like a year or 2, right? And so it's pretty, like, disgusting when you see these, like, quarterly balance updates, and it's like, oh, so we've made all of the competitive armies worse, and taken out some strategies in the game because people were abusing them, and, oh yeah, like, you know, like that's just not very fun, right? Like, taking people down a notch in a game is not, like, it just makes playing those armies worse. And I don't play AdMech, dude. I don't care about the Toaster Boys. I do care about Drakari, as I do have a small Drakari force. But, you know, I don't play competitively, so it's not really a big deal. But, like, making factions worse to play so that factions that are already shitty are, like, can play against them is, like, why? Like, why don't you just make bad factions like Gene Stealer cults and Chaos good, so that they can actually play the game against, like, speed orcs? Like, they killed, like, didn't they kill speed orcs? Like, they killed the speed Wa. Like, they introduced the speed Wa, somebody won a tournament in 1 turn, and then they crippled the speed Wa so it could never be used again. And so it's like, hey, all those new models you just bought get absolutely wrecked. And it's just, it doesn't feel good. Like, I don't play Speed Wa. I like the Green Tide. You know, those are the boys I have, like Green Tide and, what's it called? I do have some bikes, though. Like, I don't have any of the new orc stuff, except I was thinking about, if I keep my Warhammer Plus subscription for a year, I was definitely gonna get the orc boss guy, because I don't really care about the sniper. I'd want to turn him into terrain if I got him. But it just doesn't feel, like, it just doesn't feel very good, right? When you have, essentially, like, again, I haven't played 9th edition yet, so obviously take this with a grain of salt, but that's pretty, like, having a pile of shame and trying to get through it so you can play the game is pretty normal. So it's not, like, a huge big deal, but at the same time, it's like, I've watched people play, I've been getting big into battle reports, and I've been looking at the different armies, and it's like, I'm not, like, excited to play Drakari, just in general, because they're a very, like, difficult faction to, like, play properly. And so, you know, I was gonna play with, like, Grey Knights and Chaos, get the hang of things, and then move on to my other factions that I have. Maybe do a little Orcs, Tyranids, Dark Eldar, Drakari, sorry. And, yeah, you know, just kind of do stuff like that. But it's just, like, I would rather, in the quarterly update, like, they did improve Chaos. Like, they did buff Chaos, but just not in the way that you would, like, not in the obvious way that everybody's been waiting, like, a year for. And meanwhile, Loyalist sub-chapter number 8,876 gets a freaking update, right? The Black Templars just got their new codex, and it's like, I like the Black Templars, they're really cool, but did they have to get an update before Chaos? Did they have to? Like, can't you just come out with, like, an index or whatever that's like, hey, like, they, with 8th edition, when they changed the rules a lot, they came out with Imperium indexes, Chaos indexes, and Xenos indexes. And that was just like a updated rule sheet for every army in the game, pretty much when the new edition came out. Why don't they do that anymore, dude? Like, why is it just, do we have the light source check? No, I'm pretty sure, no, it was second mystery, get it out of here. We didn't even end up using these things, by the way. We could just Ashen contract him. Let's do it, dude. Doesn't really matter. Just get absolutely dusted. Like, we threw the torch at him and then obliterated him with Eldritch Magic. It's really funny. and also a complete waste of a perfectly good torch that survived the oil beach incident. But, like, I don't understand why Games Workshop just doesn't come out with indexes, right? Like, they did it in 8th edition, and that was a good idea, because it meant that you could buy, like, a Xenos index, and then you could play every Xenos army in the game with new, updated rules. So that, like, your army immediately had rules at the start of a new edition, and now it's like, hey, you know, 9th edition is, like, halfway over, and only, like, half of the armies in the game, and most of those armies are Space Marines, by the way, only, like, half of the armies in the game have codexes for the current edition. Like, half of the armies have rules, basically, and most of those armies that have rules are Space Marines. It's like, yeah, it kind of sucks, right? Like, but in Octarius, you get Tyranid and Cadian rules. Who cares, dude? It's, like, Web is tilted? Web is tilted. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Like, the only upside is that with a Warhammer Plus subscription, I do not have to buy the old rules, right? Like, because I'm a Warhammer Plus subscriber, I have all of the rules on my phone, right? So I don't have to spend like $40, $60 on an old Chaos Space Marines codex that's going to be outdated in a couple of... Like, the crazy thing is that the old Chaos Space Marine codex from 8th edition is going to get you more mileage than the 9th edition one, probably. Because the 9th edition one is going to be relevant for, like 6 months? And the 8th edition Chaos Space Marine codex has been relevant since, like, it came out in 8th edition. It's insane. It's crazy. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you're all staying safe out there. Have a good one. And yeah, peace out.